As you can see, Kayla's pretty stoked.
Oh wow, I fucked up.
All right, so it's been a little while since we started tackling. Actually, you guys wouldn't even know. We had to start tackling Kayla's R32. As you can see, home garage today, and R32 is a little bit tore apart right now. So got all of Kayla's turbo gear off recently. Just have a little bit of footage of that. I'll show some of that in a little bit. But in the meantime, I'm going to take some footage of taking the head off this car. Reasoning for all this, last track day, things didn't quite go as planned, which was a few months ago now. Just really starting to dig into this now. Didn't really put much thought or time into it. Started purchasing a couple little things here and there. We'll get more into that in a little bit. But in the meantime, just gonna do some time lapse of taking the head off to assess the, I'm gonna say it, carnage. So we're gonna get to it. All right, so I got all the head studs out, all the bolts out. Probably didn't do the right sequence, but I don't really care because I'm pretty sure this thing's wrecked. And Kayla decided to come in and join me. Ready to see some carnage?
Yeah. Yeah. Stoked.
So I didn't really explain what happened yet, but we'll go over that at a later time. You got to take off pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, she wanted to be here for the grand unveiling. That's it, exactly.
Unveiling of my damage.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pass you over to her, and hopefully I can try to wiggle this thing off by myself. I kind of have to go a little bit hands-free here. Kayla's actually gonna help me try to get this thing off because it's a little bit awkward. So we're going to do it now, and hopefully you'll see Kayla's reaction.
I'm going to have a poker face.
So I've got right on the other side.
You're really thinking I'm muscly.
Oh, that's an arc. Let's see if we can... It's good for the valves. All right, so as you can see, Kayla's pretty stoked.
Oh wow, I fucked up.
I'm gonna have to bleep that out, Kayla. Yeah, so that's cylinder one. Ooh, that's a piece of valve. Cool. So, do you want to explain now what happened, or do you want to wait till you get back? We'll wait till Dave comes over.
Oh man, I'm not very proud of myself.
Do you want to flip over the head to take a look how bad the head is too? Because I was hoping maybe the head would be salvageable, but by the looks of it, this is all it's all junk.
Yeah. Maybe the dry February is gonna have to stop.
Yeah, dry February. We're doing a dry February right now, and it's might have to stop. So, but I'm gonna flip this over. Obviously, I wasn't too concerned about the head. That's why we just put it on the ground here. I didn't really have too concerned about the valves and stuff, mainly because I kind of knew what we were getting into before this happened. So let's. Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that's what happens when. Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Gas is really important.
Yeah.
Especially when you're on the track.
In high boost? Boost. So as you can see, all of Kayla's turbo gear's off, and that's getting shipped off, and she's not allowed to have her turbo car anymore. No. No, I'm kidding.
I have a bicycle.
No, car is definitely getting some upgrades. This thing sees a ton of track time, gets abused. And, you know, the headspacer kit, everything else, that was amazing. Would have probably lasted forever, really, if at the power level that it was at, because it was it was a good setup. Really good setup. Somebody else going to be able to enjoy this setup. It's for sale, by the way. So maybe if somebody wants a 400 on pump, 89 octane, or sorry, 91 octane, not 89, Jesus. And it did 475 on the race fuel additive. That kit is up for sale. In the meantime, Kayla's car is getting a lot of upgrades and a lot more power. So I'm gonna do a little bit more filming here. Kayla's gonna take off, take Bart to the, what, a doggy thing?
Yeah, he's got to play with some dogs.
He's gonna play date. And I think we'll go over a little bit more of the carnage here.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to see the spark plug? We took that out a while ago. That's why I knew this wasn't going to be good. Oh, and I had a scope, and I went down the cylinder and took a look. But if you look at that, this might be the thumbnail, actually. I have a picture of you holding the spark plug.
Yeah.
Or the spark plug like this, and then like that,
Yeah.
and you looking sad. So. And
then I think it was Robbie sent back like all the dollar signs on the group chat.
Yeah. So this is a slippery slope of modifying cars. Again, it was no fault of the setup, no fault of the car, no fault of the build. This was truly user error, and really not point and blame at Kayla at all either. We'll get a little bit more into why this could have happened. But anyway, time for upgrades and spending lots more money.
I 100%, even that day, took full responsibility.
I know. Anyway, more money to be spent. Good thing my car, hopefully, is good to go this year. Probably just jinxed it. Damn it. Yeah, so that's it's a piece of the valve there, stuck, embedded right into the piston. And if you take a look at the bottom of the head here. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to lighten this up a bit, but I mean, somebody might be able to fix that, but I'm not, especially when I have something else that I know will work right beside me. Just needs to be cleaned up a bit, rebuilt, and yeah, we'll go from there, I guess. So that's a hole right in the top of the piston with a valve stuck to it. This might be a nice little art piece. Oh my. Anyway, I got lots of work ahead of me with this one, but at least I got something to keep me busy. So maybe I'll explain a little bit more of what we think kind of happened here. So last track day of the year, Kayla and I went out for, of course, we said it, one last run. I was behind her. We were having a good lap. She came in the time before that, actually, and the car kind of sounded a little bit off, but it was a really hot day that day, and we were doing like hot lap after hot lap and everything else. Started the car back up. Everything seemed to be fine. She checked the fuel. It was like a little over quarter tank. Should have been fine. We noticed when we first got this car that as soon as basically the fuel light comes on, like the low fuel warning, like the light itself comes on, that it's pretty much out of fuel. So we're always very cautious on what's going on. Kayla said that when she first came off the track or started back up to go back out, it looked like she had about a half a tank. I don't think really that was probably the case. It was probably a little bit round quarter, a little bit more maybe. But anyway, we went out, we were doing some laps. The low fuel light, I think, might have triggered on, and it was like the last lap we were doing. I was behind her. Between corner 3 and 4, she decided that she had her blinker on, or 4 ways. And I was like, I can't pass you here. Like, what's going on? And come to find out, then she pulled right off the track. I came up to the pits, pulled over. The car wasn't smoking or anything. Even when she was in front of me doing pulls and stuff, the car didn't let out a puff of smoke, nothing. The car just died. So I was hoping that it was like maybe ran out of fuel, but like not into boost. But by the looks of it, and well, from what we gathered after the fact, yeah, it was into boost when the fuel was a little bit low or the car went lean. So actually, upon closer inspection, Dave and I were talking last night, and he said that, and I knew this, but usually a piston will melt down the side if it goes lean. And after really looking at pictures, I always thought it melted down, and we thought it melted down because of looking at the spark plug and everything else. But like I was saying, upon closer inspection, Dave had his doubts, and he came over today.
And sure enough, it looks like it just dropped a valve.
Yeah, so it may have, so all the blaming of Kayla and teasing her over the amount of time and stuff, it looks like it might.
So Clayton was thinking that this was melting down through here, but I mean, we're going to take the piston out and look at it, but I mean, that can happen for sure in a lean situation, but typically it'll blow out around the skirt or the side and the skirts and eat down through the rings and the ring lands and all that. But
And if it does melt down like that, it can drop valves because of that as well.
oh,
right?
of course, yeah, everything's going all the heck when that happens. But it looks like it just clipped a valve at some point, and the valve said sayonara.
So the real funny thing about this is that there was one year where I wrecked 2 trannies, the tranny in this and the transmission in my Mark 1. And then this year we wrecked the valvetrain in the Mark 1.
yeah,
But Kayla, actually, you know what? You could place blame back at me because I did drive this car a couple times this year. So maybe
I didn't drive this car once this year.
No.
But yeah, for it to be, if it was actually lean, there'd be signs of detonation on the other pistons and stuff. And there's
a little bit maybe on cylinder 6.
I don't know, because there's so many pieces of the valves and stuff all in these cylinders from this one, that some of this could have just been that beating around, because I've taken some pretty big chunks out of these already.
Yeah.
So like there's a big chunk right here, you can see it.
Yeah.
And that would have come up into the intake and then down into the cylinder again. So that's the problem when it drops a valve like this, especially when it's at high RPM. You got big chunks of aluminum like this flying around in the other cylinders, damaging those as well. So I don't think Clayton probably mentioned it yet, but there's another whole engine right here to go in it. So
yeah, I briefly touched on it, and I actually do have a little bit of a time-lapse teardown on that, which I didn't put in this video because we'll save that for the next video, which is going to be sort of the whole engine build. So
yeah, so let's get the piston out of this one, rod and piston out of this one, and just look and confirm 100%. But I mean, the block might still be good. It's unlikely, but we'll find out in a few minutes. Oh, I can almost do it. If you can see, I'm grabbing by the valve to try to pull this out. Oh.
you got it.
You say I got it. I need some pliers. Attempt number 2. I mean, they're gonna go flying because I pulled the valve out of the piston. No, definitely, I would say it's all
valve.
Yeah, oh, there is a broken ring line though.
Oh, sweet. A VR with a broken ring line.
Surprise! So you can show you what happens, because you probably haven't seen this before, but you can see that if we get a pick, actually, let's get a pick. It looks all good, right? Like, I mean, it's together.
It looks pretty messed up to me.
It's, well, not the top, but the side. But if you look, this piece actually isn't even attached.
Jeez.
Look at that. That's the fun of VRs.
Neat.
Neato.
Neat.
Neato.
Learning with Clayton again.
Yeah, there you go.
Sweet.
That's how you wreck a piston.
Yeah, so sorry everybody that I kind of jumped the gun on this one, saying it melted down.
Well, I mean, based on the scenario that day,
and she did say
right away. She said it.
Yeah, and I talked to her last night, and she's like, "Yeah, coming up at 11, that's when the fuel light came on." And like I was explaining yesterday, as soon as the fuel light comes on, this thing, it's like almost out of fuel. So.
And the thing is, at the track, the fuel light technically could have came on
a couple times
without even noticing, based on where you are on the track and trying to keep the car on the road.
Yeah.
But the block actually can be salvaged, I think, if we wanted to.
Well,
this isn't for the boneyard. This isn't for the boneyard.
So we keep it till next time?
We keep it for the next time, yeah. It was planning for upgrades anyway, so yeah, this is a forced upgrade.
The car wanted upgrades.
Definitely. I need a real reg.
All right, well, are we done here now, I guess?
So, I don't know.
Just go back to the other footage and
did you
continue the video? I ended it.
Okay, go back to the other video.
Now it's time for some upgrades. That day was kind of a bit of a mess anyway. Our buddy Zach's car ended up having to go home on a CAA, and then later on that evening, we called CAA to come pick up this car. Anyway, big fight. We no longer have CAA. No more CAA for us. I'll pay for the tows. I don't care. We had to run home, drop my car off, come back, get this car. It was night. It was a mess of a night. Couldn't get... when it was at the track, actually, I forgot to mention this. We did try taking the spark plugs out. We got all of them out except for cylinder 1. And obviously, as you saw, it was melted down, so that's why we couldn't get it out. So the last thing I'm going to do, I thought I was going to be finished up, but the last thing I'm going to do is going to drop the pan, take a look at the little bit of carnage that might be in the bottom of that pan. but I realized that I broke all of my holders for like my little Allen keys to go in the impact. So I'm gonna make a trip to Princess Auto, which is basically the Canadian equivalency to Harbor Freight. I don't know if it's possibly even junkier, but it's great for the type of tools that you don't really care about. You got to modify, twist, bend, break, whatever. So I broke all the sets that I had, so now I'm going to make a trip to Princess Auto. All right, just like any trip to Princess Auto, as you can see, there's a sign there. You always come out with more stuff than what you're expecting. So got some bits, got another holder, got some of those, and then also a set of these nippers for good for zip ties, which a lot of Volkswagens use a lot of zip ties. Anyway, I am now just gonna go home and start working away again. One of these days I'll learn to not have to struggle under the car, but until then, I got a couple that require a little bit more persuasion. All right, closer inspection. Obviously, piece of piston have to go somewhere. So that's a little bit of the piston, and there's some other bits here. So I'm just gonna take this baffling off because I'm gonna have to clean this all out anyway and take a closer look. And as you can see, a few chunks of piston there, and then in around there, and in around everywhere. So you can probably see right down through. There's a bunch of stuff in the way there, but I was gonna say you can probably see right down through. You might be able to see light from the bottom, but I think that's gonna be pretty much for this one today. There's some parts I gotta order. I gotta take the new to us block apart and then start ordering up some pieces. I just want to make sure that the new block is all good before I start ordering stuff. And we'll go over that in the next video. And yeah, this is, it happens. This is better than happening middle of the season. So gives us something to do over the winter. Good time for upgrades, and way better than, like I said, happening midway through the season because the car would have been laid up for a few months probably. So anyway, on that note, make sure you like and subscribe, please. It means a lot to us. Comment, obviously, as well. And I don't know. Maybe guess in the comments what we're shooting for with this car next and kind of some of the mods we're going for. And see if anybody gets close. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.